And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to another AccuSim challenge flight. And today we are crossing over from Melanguana, where we left off the day before yesterday. And let me check, double check. And we're gonna do a long one over mostly water, following an NDOB and visual reference at the southern tip and this little sliver over here on this island at P2. And then continuing across this point, just as a visual, across some islands over here and then a major island before we make landfall here at Sorong, which is on the Indonesian part of Papua New Guinea. It's a long flight, 400 miles, will roughly be 2 hours, I guess. Yeah, 2 hours 7 minutes. And I'm not streaming this but recording this because it's a lot of water, so I can pause the recording. And otherwise we're gonna have a good flight, I'm guessing. We're way in the tropics and we will be crossing the equator. So I'll be sure to not pause the recording when we do that. Passing the equator over there. So without further ado, I did the checks on the exit already, on the externals. Fuel are up. It's 30 degrees outside, so nice and warm. Really into tropical spheres. Close the door. And let's get set. Parking brake set correctly. Oh, I forgot the fuel last time. Make sure that they're in. Ventilation air is on. Forgot some things the other day, it seems, in starting off. Nav lights on. And let me check. Yeah, we're gonna start the engines. I'll be setting my levers. Okay. Beacon light on. Gonna start with the right engine first, because that brings up the hydraulics and vacuum pump. Fuel pump on. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be enough. Oh, maybe this will work. We'll see. There we go. And bring her back to 1000 RPM. Pump off. Pump on. 1, 2, 3, 4 should be enough. Crack it. Start it. Adding. Pump off. Bring back to 1000. Alternator in. Electronics in. And let her warm up, but warming up is not easy because she's already quite warmed up. I'll put the fan on high for ventilation's sake because it's warm. And let's see. Now I noted down the navigation information. We're gonna head out on a course of 140 and our NDB chase station is 295. So 140. And NDB station 295. Expect to hear that whenever we come around. Right, so there's little navigation coming out, but of course we have a station that we are here. Or no, we didn't have a station coming here. That's true. There wasn't a VR station here. So we're going purely out on a visual reference. Fun. Headphones. Get a bit easier. Cabin fan is on. Let's do the prop heat, even if it's, well, not heated, but let's do it anyway. Cabin lights. Yes, all good. Transponder on. I'm sure this isn't correct. I forgot. Keep forgetting to do this update general thing. How that works in the thingamajig itself instead of doing it via the DFB. But okay. Right. We are set to go. Now, a bit out of sorts. Meaning, there's all kinds of stuff that I should have done, which I haven't done yet. 12 knots from 040, so it's gonna be runway 36 with some hefty crosswind and nose wind. Runway 36. Sorry, dude. Don't stand there. So this will be a backtrack, it looks like. Don't see a real taxiway over here. Yeah. I'm gonna do our engine checks at the end then. Trees. No trees over there. Should be fine. Runway's long enough. See, everything's already in the green, so that's good. Strobes, taxi lights. Put those on already. As we are on the runway. Weather seems good. We're in the afternoon. I'm flying live. It's morning in the Netherlands, meaning that it's late afternoon. Yeah, around 4 o'clock in this neck of the woods. Go. Here we go. Here we go. Parking brake set. Right. Free movement. check. I'm gonna check our engines, see if the props will work. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's okay. Max. Left, right. Left, both. Left, both. Both max okay. No shutdown when throttles go to idle. Okay. Pumps on. Landing lights on. Flaps to 10. And we are set to go. 29 degrees aboard. So hopefully it will be a bit cooler when we head out. Right. Here we go. Some rise. There we go. Brake. Gear up. These trees are awfully high still. I'd like to make the blue marker, as that's a single engine safe speed. So flaps up. Now if that one of our engines would have died, then we would have been in a lot of trouble because of the trees and the speed not being met. But okay, it didn't happen, so no worries. Turn out right, and all the while engines to 24, RPM to 2400, external lights off. Safe altitude, so pumps off. Turning towards 140. And I'm starting my timer. I'm gonna go high. 1 for the visibility. I need some range on visibility. With islands that we're passing, we already see the islands over there, and I can see that my heading and my course are correct, because I would be going past these islands. And then of course it will be a big gamble, because in 150 miles we should reach the NDB. So anytime I either hear it on the radio or I see this needle go, and then I know that I'm in the vicinity of it and I can waylay my course if that would be necessary. Second, and that's of course for sim only, that's not real, but internal temperature is now 28. External is already going to 20, so I'm gonna pull some ventilation air. Because it's hot in here and we want to cool that down a bit. Mind the speed. I'm gonna be around the blue marker for a good climbing speed. She can really climb, she can really perform. Always doing 2000 feet an hour a minute. Yeah, 2000 feet. And climbing, yeah. slow. Nice. Also, of course, of fuel economy and speed. The higher you are, the thinner the air. The thinner the air, the thinner your mixture, so your speed. And because the air is thinner, we'll have a higher ground speed. So that all helps in fuel economy, in speed, in, well, you name it. Now at full throttle. So from this point on, the manifold pressure will start dropping with nothing I can do about it. If it reaches around 20, 21, that'll be my, let's say, cruising ceiling. I'm guesstimating that's somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 feet. Close these now. Set this to low. Definitely getting into cooler air now. It's already under 14 degrees. Feet. And we are passing the island as expected. So this is a good marker for me that my heading and my course are in tune with one another. If I'd have a large amount of crosswind, then that island would be either under me or my distance to it would be greater than expected. So for me this is a marker that I can say, okay, it's safe enough to just follow this heading, and we'll see when we get to the enemy. Don't know the range of it, could look that up. Or we could just take the risk. I'm gonna take 9,000 feet. Here we go. Autopilot. We are. Let's build up some speed. the right engine is producing somewhat more, so I'm gonna pull that a bit. The difference between left and right, difficult. There we go. Yeah. And I'm gonna set my RPMs to, let's say, 2200. And I'm gonna lean my engines out to roughly 12 gallons an hour. And then I'm gonna fine lean them with the lean finder. You can hear the engines start to complain. Now the temps go down. But no lean find. What am I doing wrong? There we go. You can hear the engines starting to lean out too much, and then they start a bit of stuttering. Basically, you're getting more air than fuel in, or too less fuel. Speed is not coming really coming up. Why is that? Flaps are up, gears are up. Why is my indicator speed so low? Let's see if it comes up. Oh yeah. Good enough. Everything sounding smooth. Just bring back that right hand engine so that we're the same, so we don't get any yawing going on. And we are set. Now, like I said, this is a longer flight and mostly over water. I'm not gonna bore you with 2 hours looking at water or clouds, so I'm gonna pause my recording and I'll be back. It is now 11 minutes 20 seconds from takeoff, and I will come back with you when something happens, being in range of the NDB, seeing something worth mentioning, or well, issues. So for now, I'll be back. And we are back because we've got a marker here and I don't hear a sound, which is weird, so I'm gonna check this. I've had this before, that I don't hear a sound on the Collins audio marker. I should hear a beep coming from the ADF, so that because our station is in range. We also see that we are too far to the right, so whatever wind there is, it has pushed us too far to the right. So I'm gonna set this to, it was 130, 141, so I'm setting it to 135. So that we're going almost straight at it. Another degree. Okay. We don't have a visual yet. There's too many clouds. We don't have a range as well because it's NDB, so it's just a direction. I'm gonna look at this. Sorry. So I don't know exactly where I am, but I do know that the way to our destination, our first station, P2, is on this direction. And I know on the timer it should be 50 minutes. We are now at 36. So I expect in 14 minutes to be over our target. Now I hope that we can see it because the cloud layers are getting bigger. I may have to go down a bit, which of course impacts our fuel and speed. But yeah, I will need some visual reference, and this is just not it. Just not it. Yeah. So I'll be back with you then. For now, everything's fine, everything's smooth, and we have found P2. So, pausing again. See you later. And I'm back, and we have a stroke of luck, a hole in the clouds, and lo and behold, we have of course our NDB station, which is right about here, and we have that little sliver here on the southern tip. So we are where we want to be. And the timer is 45 minutes, so the 50 is roughly indeed what we would expect. Now, the next thing is of course our next heading. Our next heading should be 135, slightly off from the 140 that we started out. And we can keep tracking this one, of course, the NDB. But I have tuned the VOR already. That's Sorong 117.1. It is still 250 miles away from here. So I'm guessing this VOR will have a range of around 120 miles. So for 130 miles we'll be in the blind, except for knowing that we're going off from this one, because this arrow will point the other way from where we were. I'm not going to waylay my course just to be over this bit. We're high enough to, it does not really matter. This cloud layer is something of concern, but then again it also is not, because soon we will not be over anything but water. So whether if I'm looking at white clouds or blue water without any distinction, it doesn't really matter. For now we know that we are at P2, and we are there roughly 3 minutes short of time, which is good. Now I could reset this timer, or I could just say, okay, I know that the time to the next one is 1 hour 17, so our total time should be 2:07. I'm keeping it like that. So following this little sliver on P2 Island, we'll be going along the Tidori Islands, I think, and one of the capes is what we're passing on the right. It's kind of a hook-shaped cape, and then it'll be 200 miles until we come to, I don't know how the island is called, but in any case a big island with what looks like a very big lake, or even an inland sea between the two halves. And from there it's only say roughly 50 miles to Sorong. We should be able to receive something from the VOR station already. So for now, welcome to P2. I'm counting this as 48 minutes, so 2 minutes faster. So that would mean our total time would be 2 hours and 5 instead of 2 hours and 7. If I just take on that, it will be even less, of course. Yeah, that's it. Continuing on and pausing the recording there. And we're back, and I want to show you I just passed it. You see this island here with this, well, this shape. Should have been a bit more to the right, because that's basically our visual marker from our earlier NDB station, which is right that behind us. We're on 1 hour 1 minute, and I expect it to be a little more to the left of that island, so that means that we're drifting right to the right. I could compensate for that. I will compensate for that. I'm gonna set my heading to 130. So, small amount of compensation. But I don't want to drift off too far. I think this will be correct for a correction. And the next 100 miles or so are just water until we pass some small islands on the right, should be, before we come to the big one with the, well, let's call it an inland lake, inland sea. And, well, we'll see when we catch something about this. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna report this while I'm at it. So, that's it. Still going strong, still going nicely. Everything's smooth, everything's stable. And I'm pausing again until I've got something else to report. And I'm back. Because we went over a time change, so it should be 7:27 local, but it's 18:27. And I just got a hit on the VR, 128 miles roughly. We are 1 hour and 25 into the trip, and I've now got the VR station, and we are almost dead on track. Amazing. Just amazing. So our little tricks around headings and stuff work. Now I also see an island over here, which is one of the islands that I mentioned. There's also some little slivers over here, which should pop up on our right hand side, and they do. So yeah, all in all we can now say that we have a range 125 miles, we have a direction which is correct, and we have our visual markers also set in. Now, to correctly follow, I can set this to take a navigation instead of heading. So now we'll be following the VOR radial. The radial being 132 straight into Sorong, which we will be in 35 minutes. If I count that to this, 35, that means 2 hours and 2 minutes, which is 5 minutes faster than I had perceived when we took off, which we also said this will be our time when we passed the NDP. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? It does, actually. Okay, so we're on this bit. The sun's going down, so we're maybe going into a dark landing, nighttime landing. We'll see. We have the lights for it, we have the stuff for it, so it's all good. I'll be back with you when we cross the equator or something else happens, which is worth noting. See you soon. And back for a short one. We're over, what's this island called again? Waigeo, something like that. Yeah, Waigeo Island, and that means if I turn this one on, we have crossed the equator. There we go. You can see our course very neatly. Very neat. We've crossed the equator. Yay! Just wanted to share that. Good show. Right. We are 67 miles out. Time to go 19 minutes. I'm gonna stay here for the rest of the trip as the sun slowly sits sinks into the Pacific. Now, what I wanted to show you, and this is, I've talked about this earlier in videos, I'm actually a bit disappointed about the accumulation of dirt. You know, I've got the bug splatter stuff over here on the nose, on the engines, and over here on the tail, and of course on the wings. You can't see it as well, but it's on the, if you go into the light, on the black strips. I would imagine stuff on the bottom, dirt and such from the wheels. It's not a whole lot, and I said it, I've been saying it since Japan, that I expected more to accumulate in tropical weather, more bugs, more stuff like that. I don't know if that will be modeled, but anyway, that's my real world expectation. Now I'm kinda disappointed by how not dirty the aircraft is getting. So, I'm gonna make a picture of this. And also the bottom, because there's even a picture in the manual where you can see mud and stuff that's been thrown up by the wheels. But she looks clean, basically. It's just bug splatter, nothing more. So I'm gonna type this up. I'm gonna post this on Discord. Because it feels too low. That's how it feels. Anyway, this is Waimeo Island. With the inland lake / sea. I think there's a connection between the lake to the ocean. Let's see, time to go. 15 minutes, which would equate to 2 hours and 1 minute on flight, where we calculated 2 hours and 7. So that's all good. I also posted something about the audio marker thing, because I want to hear auto control off. So nav1 on speaker. Nothing. You know, every navigational station has its identification code in Morse. I would expect to hear that, but I hear nothing on the audio thing. Not on NDBs, not on VORs. I would expect that. So that's also something that I asked. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. Ooh, it's 11 degrees in there. It's cooling down. It's 11 degrees, it's cold in here. Maybe it's cold outside. Let's put the heater in for 50 and the fan up high. Also turn the heater on here. Would have expected that. 11 degrees inside temperature over the equator. Right. Posted it. Now, I'll stay with you until the end here now. I'm not pausing anymore. "46 miles out." And I can quickly ask the planner. W1A, Sorong mainland. About the weather. 3 knots from the east, no, from the west. Marginal via VFR. So runway 27 is best. Well, that's basically a straight in. No, not, no, no, no. I don't know where I got that from. No, definitely not. Well, anyway, runway 127 is gonna be our runway to aim at. Which is from land to sea. Can see a bit of land over there already. I'm gonna add some glare lights because we're going in the dark. This will be enough. And on the map lab, these map lights. Oh, nice! I can even guide these. I didn't even know that one. So everybody's fine here, but I'm gonna take out the cabin lights. Yeah. As I don't want any light interference when we're going to land. This is excellent though. In just over 2 hours crossing these bits of the Pacific is really, it's a fast aircraft. Of course you can say, okay, I can do that in a tube liner in half an hour. Sure you can. But then you wouldn't get to enjoy this. This is all good. Now for fun, let's go to the Aerostar app. Okay. Maintenance. Let's see if we inspect the airframe. All is good. Look at the engines. All is good in number 2. All is good in number 1. Stay a bit. Let's look at the oil stuff, of course, because that's getting down a bit. Not doing anything with the type of oil. Sure, we still have fine wire and MSFS on the spark plugs. That's all good. If I look at the analyzer, we're just a bit rich. Pulling back a bit. Now we're a bit leaner because the exhausts are now greenish. Electrical pumps are off. Fuel pump is running. Fuel spray is going. Magnetos are both going. You see the spark plugs firing. The cylinders going. Exhausts are giving out. And you see the angle of the prop labs even. There's a lot of stuff here. I find this a bit too small to read, even with my glasses on. It's torque, RPM, percentage of power, and percentage of thrust, something like that. I don't know. It's a bit too small for me, personally. Electrical system, always good. We have 2 alternators running, the battery is full, and we have a load of 17.7 amperes from the cockpit. So yeah, all good. All good, all good, all good. Don't need a visor. And we can see Sorong here in the distance. Already see the lights. As the sun is now indeed dipping behind the horizon. One thing I did notice now, because we crossed Canada, Alaska, the Bering Strait, Kamchatka, and then all the way over to Japan. Japan was still a bit wintry, but it got better as we've got further south. This aircraft does not like cold. It has to use engine warmers, so preheating the engine oil and engine itself to even let it get started. I would expect to get it started, but okay, that's my deficiency probably. I'm not questioning A2A's modeling of these engines in any way, but I would expect it to start up quite okay. But of course, with very cold oil, it would take a very long warming time, and could even incur some extra damage, wear and tear, because of, you know, sludgy oil in the cold. When flying in the cold, sure, we have a pitot heater, but there is no windshield defroster. I think there is a defroster blower, but nah, don't count on it. And ice accumulation on the body will, on the fuselage, will not diminish. We don't have anti-icing equipment aboard. We had some icing on one flight, I think it was in the Japanese islands, where all of a sudden it disappeared. Some kind of a weather glitching thing, I think. That was actually a pity, because I had some trouble coming in, of course, because of the ice building up. But yeah, the basis on the model is do not fly it into winter weather. Do not go into cold scenarios. Do not fly it in Canada, Alaska, something like that. I did, with some risk. But here in warmer climates, it's happy. It's a really happy aircraft. Here we go. Can turn it a bit off now. Keep the cabin heat still on, but now 24 inside. So yeah, this is something to take in mind. To keep in mind that this aircraft does not like cold. Starting up in cold, flying in cold weather, and combining cold weather with moisture is dangerous. Let's say it like that. Yeah, people in the dark. I took their lights away. I can take it back on. Let's see. Cabin lights. Okay, it doesn't really bother me on the front here, so I'll keep them on for now. Then. Right, we are 17 miles out and I'm gonna descend, so autopilot off. Pulling the throttles to 15. And descending, all the while keeping my speed around 180. Basically keep the cruise speed, but diminish the power. And when you diminish the power and then adjust your angle of attack, your nose, this leads to cruise speed, but just descending, not diving. You see the lights blinking over there for Jeffman. It's the other airport I considered on that small island. I thought, now let's go to Sorong, to the mainland. We have that here. We see the bay. The airport should be, I think, inside the bay or just across it. I think inside over here. So as stated, we're going to go for runway 27, which gives us some nose wind. Adjusting barometric pressure. That's all good. Yeah, but on the dirt and the bugs, I'm kind of disappointed in that. I really expected to be very much accumulating, but from the outside, the aircraft doesn't look that dirty. And mind you, we've flown from Kamchatka now to New Guinea, to West Papua. Without even approaching this aircraft with anything like a sponge or something. So yeah, my expectations were a bit higher on that. Maybe it will still come in, we don't know. Maybe it's based on hours instead of the distance that you cover, or the sceneries that you that we cross. Don't see a hops counter here, I think. Is there a counter in here? Or do I have to look at the EFB? There's nothing here. I'd have to look for that somewhere. It's checklists. User control. I would expect to see something. Oh yeah, 35 hours. And the engines are roughly 29. I can tell you, if I fly an aircraft here in the Netherlands in the summer for 35 hours and not clean it, it will be black with fly bodies and mud. Okay, I would be landing on grass strips, not on concrete ones, but still. I'm also looking for my airfield, which I expect to be here somewhere. Oh, it's over here, but it's not lighted. Ah! How can this not be lighted? Oh, this is our airfield. Okay. Mixture's full. Now we know that it's the end of that runway is roughly across town. We see a little green light over here, so basically this is our turning point. So I'm gonna make a wide sweep, maybe come back for a proper visual approach. External lights on. We started our descent a bit too late. That's okay. Now I'm gonna kill these lights because I wanna go. I wanna look behind without gazing into some kind of a light port. Kind of sucks. So the other airport would have been better, Jeffman. I would expect a there's some lights there. Oh yeah, there's some lights. Yeah. if that indeed is the airport next to the river over there. If those are lead-in lights, or at least the runway lights, then I'm good. Otherwise, well, this is gonna be a bit difficult. In order to land, I like to see a runway, but it's already quite dark. I'm gonna go over here. That's runway. That's an east. So 09er. That's my heading now. This is a road. This is not a runway. God damn, that's a runway over there. In the gloom. This kind of sucks. There's nothing in little nav map that says this isn't lighted. I've got my bearing on it though. Okay. Let's take our time in our approach. I can slow us down already at which flap setting? Got my glasses on, I can't read it correctly. I've got these glasses for a couple of months, but they don't work as well on a curved screen on which I am. 10 degrees. Gear down. So this would equate to a base. The airport would be over there. That's the road, so it's gonna be over there, next to the road over there. Yeah. Pumps on. A bit delayed on my downwind check. Sub 20. I'm expecting the airport to be here. This dark patch. A bit annoyed. Should I? I'm gonna check that. But pictures full rich. Otherwise this becomes vastly undoable. No. This is becoming fast and doable. I have no eyes on a runway. Nothing. Should be almost on top of it. It should be here in this area. It should be this blotch over here. Even with my landing light on, I can't actually see it. This is it. But I'm way... Okay. Hope. Phew. This isn't great. I'm gonna look if I missed something. Because if I had known that this airport wasn't lighted, it's called Sorong International. I mean, what's in the title if your runway isn't lighted? I don't even know where I can taxi to. Well, not over here. Certainly not over here. There's no taxiway over here. This nose wheel, I must check that too, because it should be going to neutral when I release it on release, but it seems to be stuck when I ever steer it. Anyway, transponder off. Flaps are up already, pumps can go off. I'm gonna be on the edge of the runway to find out where the taxiways are. Should be on the left. That seems to be some kind of a terminal building or a hangar, at least that's lighted. Here we go, here we go. Oh my. This isn't the taxiway. Screw this. I'm gonna park here. I'm good. Parking brake set. I'm gonna shut down first. And then let's see what we can do. There's no other lighting, correct? No. Just the cabin lighting, that's the back, but that's only people lighting, nothing more. Okay. Lights off. Pitot heater off. Electrics off. Alternator off. Left engine. Right engine. Left engine off. Fuel off. Oh, that's not fuel. Ignition off. Fan off. Lights off. Battery off. And the rest. Right. We are in Sorong. And like I said, I'm kind of disappointed at the lack of lighting here at the airport. Now let's see if I turn on this one. Is there something that I can see here that says, nope, we're not lighted? I would expect it over here. Where am I? Oh yeah. This is a taxiway. Yeah, okay. If I select Jeffman, now I'm peaked. Now I'm on the fence. Jeffman. Hard and lighted. Okay, so when it's not stated, then it's not lighted. So it's my bad. If we go back to Sorong. Hard. Nothing says about lighted. Okay. My bad. Right. Okay, on to the next planning. If I go from here, this is our departure. Where I want to go eventually to here, I guess. Ingenue. But Ingenue, that's 4 hours flight. I'm not gonna do that. That's silly. What's in between? This one. And maybe this one is then the next one. Destination? No, don't do that. Set the destination. Now it's 3.5 hours. And if I go halfway, that would be this one. Moses. Is that his name? Moses? Moses Kilanging. Okay. Sure. We're having some mountains to cross. Big ones. Safe altitude 13,500. So we can go up over it. We can go around it. Over it would be difficult. So I'm proposing doing a straight line over, but I'm also planning this one. Add the flight plan. If I can't go over it, if I won't make that, then I can't go south because then I first have to go back. That would bring me into a spot of trouble because the seating on this thing, I don't know if I'll make it. 13,500. Would I make it? I guess I could make it, unless the weather sits really bad. Then we're in a bit of a jiffy. Then I'd have to go back all the way here and then around. Or follow this road valley. Not ideal. Then again, none of this is. I can do two things. I can do the straight one, straight in, but then take on the mountains, and I'll have to climb really high. Safe altitude is 13,500, so 40,000 at least. Or I take the chicken way out and go first for this VOR. And that way we stay out of the big leagues. Well, only a little. Now it's 10,000. But I can then just visually go a bit south. For instance, take Mount Buru over here, and just navigate in between. I can do that visually. I don't have to take the line in. So yeah, I'll take this, and if I need to go south, then it's more easier to do, because then I can just go south and I'm down from the mountains. Where if I were going direct, then I would be here, and then going south would just add more trouble. So I'd have to go back first and then go around. So I'm gonna do this for the next flight. First VOR Kaimana. And just keep this heading, that's okay, because it's a mountain range here, the coast here, so it's very visually doable. And then just go here, and if this turns out to be too high, then I can just divert a bit to the south and follow the coast until I get into the VOR range for Moses Timika. Yeah. Okay, this will be my next flight. Save this. We are gaining on Australia quite quickly, because after this we'll do Mopa, and from Mopa I could either do Scherger or even Cairns. and from Cairns it's a 2-hour flight, roughly, I guess, to Gold Coast. Yeah, that's over here. That's our destination, our final destination. But we're not there yet. We're getting there fast. And when we've done that, then I'll probably wash the plane, service it, and then take it along a tour for Australia, because this AccuSim challenge is here for a year, so I'm gonna make the most of that. Fun, fun, fun. This is what it is for today. For maybe I'll do another flight, but I'm guessing it's today. Thank you for watching, and on to the next one. Cheers.